You buy sweet potatoes and then they sit around, you don't really know what to do with them. Well, in the fall and winter especially, they're so plentiful and they're so festive for the holidays. And there's so many different ways that you can prepare them. Here's a few simple ideas. One of my favorites is simply to just bake a sweet potato, scrub the skin a little bit, puncture a few holes in it with a fork so it doesn't explode in your oven. Set the oven to 425, put it on some kind of pan or pie plate, and bake it for about an hour until it's very tender. If you put a knife inside it, it should be totally tender. And then open it, put whatever you want on it. Some people like to just put butter. I like to put cinnamon and maybe a little bit of almond butter. It's very, very tasty. And it can make a simple breakfast even. Another one of my favorites is to make oven-baked sweet potato fries. Take your sweet potatoes, peel them, and then put them in, cut them up, put them on your cutting board first, and cut them into size and shape of French fries, and then put them in a bowl and add your seasonings. So I add salt, and I add olive oil, and I add some onion and or garlic powder, and I like to add mesquite powder and Cajun seasoning. Those are things that are a little bit spicy, but not hot spicy. If you like hot spicy, you could add chili powder or something like that. And sometimes I'll add some herbs like rosemary or thyme. It's up to you, whatever you feel like having. And some salt. And then just put them on your pan. Best is to have a pan that has a lip on the side so they're easier to turn and they don't fall off. But you could just take a regular flat cookie sheet, that'll work too, and lightly oil it and then put your fries on and put them in an oven that's been preheated to 440. And then they take about half an hour, usually after 15 or 20 minutes. I like to take a spatula and turn them a little bit because the ones at the edge will tend to get a little more done than the ones in the middle. And that way they'll bake more evenly. And again, when a knife goes inside one of the pieces of sweet potato fry and it's tender, then you know that it's done. Also, you could take your sweet potatoes, peel them, cut them up, and just steam them with other vegetables. And if you have an Instant Pot, the way I like to steam them in an Instant Pot, put in 2 cups of water, put in your steaming basket, and then put in all your vegetables, add a little seasoning, or just leave them plain and season them later. And I like to pressure cook them for 4 minutes and then release right away so they don't overcook. And they're tender, they're not crunchy hard, they're very digestible and tender but not overcooked. Unless you have something very soft like broccoli, a minute less if you're using with broccoli is better. Or take bigger chunks of broccoli so the broccoli doesn't overcook before the other veggies get done. Another way I like to use sweet potatoes is when I cook greens, I'll put them in with the greens. So if I'm cooking kale or collard greens or mustard greens or turnip greens, those tend to be bitter for some people. They're too bitter. So if you cook your greens and then when they start cooking, add your cut up sweet potato, then they pretty much cook at the same time and it's really nice. One of my husband's specialties is sweet potato pie. He always makes that for Thanksgiving. And if we can, we get him to make another one for Christmas. So you could look up a recipe for that, but the main ingredients in it are your cooked sweet potatoes, spices, sweet spices like cinnamon and clove, sweetener, we use maple syrup, and egg and orange extract, which really gives it a nice sour and sweet addition to it. And you blend everything up, put it in a pie crust that hasn't been baked, and it bakes for probably 30 or 40 minutes. And then you could incorporate your sweet potatoes into other baking, like make sweet potato biscuits, or you could even make sweet potato pancakes. And again, there's lots of recipes online. You could find them for those things. So again, these are just ideas. Use your creativity, use your imagination, use what your body likes and what tastes good to you, and you'll come up with lots of ways to use this simple vegetable that's so easy to come by.